This episode will be about steerage. Ryan, you excited? You're going to learn so much about steerage, hydraulic steering on a boat. Are you so excited?
I don't know anything about it, so it's going to be interesting to learn.
Okay. Such a factual. Ryan takes himself way more seriously than I do as a YouTuber. Do you guys think Ryan should become a YouTuber? He's thinking about it. He's going to buy a boat, become a YouTuber.
Kind of have to.
Yeah, sound off in the comments. Let us know if Ryan is going to make a good YouTuber or not. So, Ryan, the helm. We should start at the helm, not up here. Okay. All right, great. So I've already got it open. You can see it right here. So I've already popped this off, and there's already
Fluid
that
everywhere.
fluid that should be red and is actually brown.
It's kind of red.
So these are my left, my right, and my return.
Yeah.
You see there's 3 hoses coming out of that hydraulic steering pump. You can just see it right there. That's hooked to my wheel. So the reason that there's 3 and not 2, because instinctively you'd be like, well, I want to turn left, it goes down one side. I want to turn right, it goes down the other. Win-win, right? Right? And if you have just one helm and one rudder and no autopilot and nothing else, and you want a dead simple system, then yeah, you can do that. You can have a hydraulic motor, which is just basically a set of gears that hydraulic fluid moves through. And if you turn it one way, it pushes it one way and pulls it from the other. And then vice versa if you turn it the other way, right? Simple.
Yep.
But this system is meant to work with an autopilot. So that's why it needs 3 tubes. So let's go down below and I'll show you why. So here's my 3 hydraulic lines. These copper lines, they make your way down right about here. One of them turns to rubber, but we'll see that later on. Another complication, here's our other helm. This is the autopilot motor. And you'll see the same situation again. 1, 2, 3. Now the third off the bottom, as usual, is the return. So that's the same hose and here 3-way fitting right here. The same line that ran out the bottom of that helm.
Yeah.
So we'll just treat this as the same. But now we got 4. So here they come. So we have this little switch box. Now mine is very filthy and I've got some work to do on it. But essentially what's going on here is that we've got our 2 lines from the helm and our center line, our return right there. Okay. And then after the gate, we have 2 more lines going straight to our steering right here, our hydraulic strut, and that hydraulic strut is what turns the rudder. And that's why you can't turn the rudder right now, because it's tight with hydraulic fluid. And the advantage to this system is because the autopilot taps in post this brick right here, you don't actually need the autopilot will not affect the wheel. So the autopilot can be on and the wheel won't spin.
Which is nice. Yeah.
Which is a nice feature. And when I'm spinning the wheel, I'm working through this gate, because this autopilot, when it's not powered on, will just lock in to position. When I turn the wheel, all of the hydraulic thrust is going through this gate and just to this strut here.
Yeah, you're not
It's the only thing that can affect. It doesn't affect this
trying
motor.
to turn that also.
Yeah, so it won't do that. So there you go. That's how that works. And then the autopilot has a little sensor to sense the direction. Of course, the computer is from 1982 and never really worked properly. So it's getting yanked and replaced with a different system. However, this motor is a fairly basic motor, and so we might end up reusing the motor. We will see. But that's it. That's the hydraulic system.
Cool.
Well, the good news is hydraulic fluid is a lubricant. So even though everything looks fairly corroded, it shouldn't be too corroded. But I guess we'll find out, because that's what we're doing for the rest of the afternoon. You excited?
I'm excited to get super dirty.
All right, well, let's get some absorbent pads out here before we start opening these valves. This is my engine exhaust, and that's them touching, ooh, because they love each other. But also, that's probably been touching for a while. So we're gonna yank that up and hopefully route it a bit better next time.
Oh my god.
Wow. Look at that, the bolt's just like disintegrating.
I know. I was picking at it before you like,
So
there's chunks of it coming off.
If I've learned anything from Sandy Hose is take no prisoners. Kill, kill, kill. The iron elbow. These things are known for going in almost every diesel engine.
Yeah, that makes
Marine
sense.
diesel engine, and it's because everything up to this point is all just like diesel and coolant and stuff, and this is where the salt water returns into the system. And so this is supposed to be a double-walled jacket where the hot exhaust is inside, and then this hits all the outside, but of course you warm up salt water and it corrodes steel twice as fast. I kind of feel like the taking off part's going to go easier than the putting on, because at least the taking off bit, it's like so old and crumbly that I can just kind of tear through with my chisel and hammer.
Fuck, how is that still holding on?
This is because I can't get to the inside here. Oh, shit. I don't think it actually is holding on. I think if I were to yank that, there's nothing on it. So now I'm going to try and yank it from that side. Okay, good thing because it's full of salt water. There we go.
There we go.
There's a little bit of water in there.
Volvo Penta.
Call it Penta for how many times you're going to pay for it? 5 times. Yeah, so the total is 12 foot 7 inches. So we're 12 foot. But technically, you were closer. So
We're still way off.
but Price is Right rules, you won.
Yeah.
So there you go. And everything is Price is Right rules. All right, so I got to make some changes about the steering system on Perihelion. One thing I need to get rid of is the leak in the system. Part of that was getting all new lines, but part of it is also this block is really, really beat up. And you can see the corrosion has eaten right through it. And some of the threads are starting to like, I'm seeing some holes in the threads. That's probably where most of the leaking's happening. Now this is a Model 50 Uniflow valve. The job this did was to add protection for the forward helm, the main helm, and not let the autopilot spin the helm and not let feedback from the rudder spin the helm. So it's basically just a series of gates, and that's why the helm needed 3 lines. This has been made redundant though, because most helms these days don't use a separate piece to do that. They include it as part of the design of the actual helm. So here we have a Charlin 201 1007 003. This is a fairly common helm. I actually own 2 of these because I bought them for Old Dog and I wanted to put a dual helm setup. Now, because it's a dual helm setup, that means it needs those valves built into it. Otherwise, it won't work. Because just think about it. You turn one wheel, you need the other wheel not to just take up all that energy and turn as well, right? Like, you could run them all in series, right? So that you could do 2 lines and one goes to the helm and then goes down to the rudder and then back up to the first helm and then pump it all around in a big circle, basically like a rope or like a wire, steer-by-wire system. But that's not the way most of these are done. They're done with a center feedback. It makes filling them a little bit easier. You can put a reservoir because the return line is low pressure. It's not pressurized at all. So it's a great spot to put a fill. So we're going to do that as well. We're getting rid of the Uniflow 50. And just switching out for this, and because I'm switching out to this, I have 2 of these, so now I have redundancy, which is amazing. So I'll be able to fix this in a tropical island somewhere and just swap it out for the other one. Hopefully, you know, that doesn't happen, but there you go. Now I have redundancy. The new exhaust tube came in. New line uses multi-flex fuel fill. It's steel reinforced. It's rated for everything that it needs to do, but it says fuel fill on it. So I don't know, it's just a thing they do. They use it for a bunch of other stuff. It'll still work as wet exhaust tubing. And yeah, pretty stoked on that. Of course, they didn't have quite enough, so I have to wait for the rest of it to show up. But that's okay because I only just got power on the boat, and now I can at least vacuum stuff out and clean up the bilge before I install all this new equipment. So I let my girlfriend try out the electric scooters and she fell in love with it so much that now I am back to just having one electric scooter. So we're gonna head out on the gas scooter and the electric scooter. We're gonna compare the GoTrax G2 to this Honda Metropolitan. They both have about just over 2 horsepower. So we'll see. I have a feeling the electric one's actually faster. You know how to start a scooter?
This has
It has kickstart, but it also has electric. So just squeeze a brake lever and press the start button. You gotta press and hold it. Oh, you do have to turn the key to the on position. There you go. And my startup procedure is I have a passcode instead of key. You gotta push it forward first. Scooter time. Yeah, there you go. Every scooter's like that. It's understand.
never ridden a scooter, just motorcycles.
Well, there you go.
More throttle.
More throttle.
Okay. We're good.
It's been really awesome to have Ryan. It's awesome hosting anybody when you're doing a project like this because you really see it from their perspective from the outside, and it gives you a little bit clearer of a vision of what you're actually doing, because dealing with this stuff day in and day out, it can be a lot, and sometimes you just need to stop, smell the roses, and drive some scooters. So this is not the perfect example because this scooter's pretty banged up and there ain't much life left in her, but the GoTrax definitely beat her on the hill for sure.
Dude, it was downhill, it was screaming, just like flat
Yeah.
at like 50.
Yeah, flat out of 50. I think this does 55. It's very, very similar.